Welcome to Lesson 1.3, Infinite Limits, Part 2, which is the Theorem 2. Now let's go to Theorem 2. We have here limit of a function as x approaches to a is equal to c, which is not equal to 0 or should not be equal to 0, and limit of g of x as x approaches to a is equal to 0. Then the limit of a function f of x over g of x as x approaches to a is equal to positive infinity if your c is greater than 0 and your g of x is approaches to 0 plus, or c is less than 0 and your g of x is approaches to 0 minus. Again, we can only say that the given limit, which is f of x and g over g of x, is equal to positive infinity if your c, which is the f of x, okay, the f of x here is denoted as c, and c should not be equal to 0. Okay, again, if your answer here is c is greater than 0, or your f of x is greater than 0 and your g of x is 0 approaches to 0 plus, then the result is positive infinity. We can also say that the answer of your function, or the limit, is a positive infinity if your c is less than 0 and your g of x is approaches to 0 minus. Now take note that your c is denoted as f of x and f of x is denoted as c. Okay, now we can also say that a limit is a negative infinity if 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 your c is greater than 0 but your g of x is approaches to 0 minus, then the result is negative infinity. Or if your c is less than 0 and your g of x is less approaches to 0 plus, then again the result is equal to negative infinity. Now in theorem 2, when can you say that the given is will be using, or we will be using theorem 2 or 1? If you can only say that we can use the theorem 2 if the given is in a quotient. Okay, quotient yung given. Again, in theorem 2, if the given is a quotient, then we can use this one. Okay, now I know that you are confused with these values na bakit magiging positive infinity, bakit magiging negative infinity, ano tong c which is greater than 0, to g of x na approaches to ganito, ganyan. Now, let's have an example for you to really understand this topic. Okay, so let's have an example. Now, don't be confused uh with the two possible results here, huh? Okay, just listen to this video. Now, we have here the given limit of 6 of a function 6 over x minus 5 as x approaches to 5 positive or to the right. Now, the first thing that we have to consider, or we have to look, is we have to go back to the theorem. What is the format of the theorem? Diba? We have here the quotient. So this is theorem 2. Now, in the given theorem, we have f of x. Okay. Now, since the given of the numerator is f of x, then we will denote here the f of x, which is the 6. Okay. The f of x over the g of x. Okay? Again, i-denote natin na yung numerator is an f of x, and then our denominator is g of x. Now, we can only be vary if we can only say that the given is theorem 2 again if the given is a quotient. We can only apply theorem 2 if the given is a quotient. Now, if the numerator is an f of x and then the denominator is g of x, isa-isahin muna natin. Okay? Sige. Unahin muna natin si f of x. Okay? Kuha tayo ng ibang kulay. Ayan. So, for f of x, again inisa-isa lang natin para hindi kayo what you call it, hindi kayo malito. Okay. Now, for your f of x, ilan yung value ni f of x? Okay. The value of our f of x here is, very good, 6. Okay. So, ilagay natin si 6. Now, is 6 less than or greater than 0? Greater than 0 si 6. Okay. Now, balik tayo. Di ba we denote f of x as c? So, meaning, the 6 or the f of x here, which is equal to 6, will be denoted as c. So, the c here is greater than 0. Very good. So, c is greater than 0. Ayan. Over. Okay. Kukunin din natin si g of x. Now, for the g of x, we have here g of x. Okay. For the g of x, ano yung value ni g of x? Di ba x minus 5? Okay. Now, since the given is a rational function, no, of our limit, if we will substitute the approach, kasi papalitan natin yung value ni x eh. If we will substitute the value of our approach, which is 5, di ba? Di ba it approach is 5. Okay? Tingnan ulit natin ng mabuti. The approach here is 5. So, kung isa-substitute natin yung approach dito sa x, which is 5 minus 5, ano yung magiging result? 0. So, kung 0 dito, ano yung mangyayari sa function natin? Magiging undefined. So, hindi pwedeng gamitin si 5. So, ano yung gagamitin natin? That's the time na babalikan natin yung lesson natin nung nakaraan, which is the one-sided limits. Ano to? What, among the one-sided limit, ano to siya? Right or left hand? Okay, right hand limit. Bakit siya right hand limit? Okay, balikan ulit natin. Pag right hand limit, yung approach niya is 5 plus. Pero pag left hand limit, yung approach niya is 5 or a number and then approach niya number to the negative. Okay? So yun ha. Okay. Now since to the right siya, hindi kasi pwede nating i-substitute si 5. So, ano yung gagawin natin? We will assume numbers that are greater kasi 5 plus means that the x should be greater than, okay, the x should be greater than 5 or we will substitute values that are greater than 5. Okay, sige, erase muna natin to kasi baka natin, what do you call this, baka natin makalimutan na baka yung i-substitute ninyo is yung 5, ha? O yung approach niya automatically. Hindi po, ha? Okay. So, we will substitute numbers that are greater than. Bakit greater than? Greater than 5 because the approach is to the right or increasing. Okay. Now, we will substitute numbers that are increasingly equal to 5 or increasing or greater than 5. Okay, now, give me numbers that are greater than 5. Okay, sige. Alam ko hindi kayo sasagot pero sige. We have here, for example, we are assuming again ha, x of 1 is equal to, sabihin na natin kasi increasing. So, sabihin natin 6. Ayan. Another, para makita natin yung proof na yung anong result niya. Ay yung another value of x, sabihin na natin 10. Ayan. Another value of x, x sub 3, sabihin na lang natin 20. Ayan. So, if we will substitute x minus 5, I mean the values of our x to the denominator of g of x, inihay g of x, kung isa-substitute natin siya dyan, okay, so, substitute natin. So, this will become 6 minus 5. The result will become positive 1. Okay. Here, kung substitute naman natin, 10 minus 5, the result will become 5. Okay. Next, kung i-substitute naman natin si 20, 20 minus 5 is equal to, okay, 15. Okay, ayan na. Kahit anong number yung i-assume natin na i-substitute dyan, as long as it is greater than 5, it's okay. Hindi din naman fix yung 5 ha, baka, kasi depende yan sa value ng approach. Kasi baka yung approach, iba yung value. So, hindi all the time, hindi to fixed. Okay? So, meron lang mga given na depende sa value ng approach. Okay. Now, as we can notice to our given, what do you call this, to our values here, okay, our values here, they are all, ano, yung value nila is greater than 0, or what do you call this, 0 plus. Kasi, bakit 0 plus? Because the answers are all positive. Since the answers of our x nga nag-substitute tayo ng values ni x are all positive, then therefore, the g of x here, okay, the g of x here is equal to 0 plus. Okay. So, lagay natin dito, 0 plus. Ayan. Now, tingnan natin ng mabuti. Si C, okay, C is equal to, ilan si C? That is equal to, greater than 0. Sorry, C is greater than 0. Saan dito yung may greater than 0? Okay, si C, ito greater than 0. Wait lang. Ang pangit ng kulay. Wait lang, ha? Ayan. Ito, gamit tayo ng yellow. So, if your C is greater than 0, so ito siya, C is greater than 0, and ito C is greater than 0. So, possible positive infinity or possible then negative infinity yung sagot. Now, tingnan naman natin si G of X. Okay, ano yung G of X natin? The G of X is, okay, the G of X here is 0 plus. Okay, so the G of X natin is 0 plus. So, therefore, if 0 plus siya, 0 plus, okay, wait lang. Okay, 0 plus. Saan dito yung may 0? Ito. Okay, so G of X is approaches to 0 plus. So, since C is greater than 0 and over 0 plus, yung G of X siya approaches to 0 plus, the result will become, okay, very good. The result is equal to positive infinity. So, yung sagot natin dito is equal to positive infinity. So, this is now the result of our given problem. Okay? Again, yung result ng limit natin dito is positive infinity. Okay, so naintindihan. Now, take note ha, the values of our x here, there's nothing to worry about. Like for example, Miss, do we have to write all of these? Not necessary. Okay, this is not necessary as long as you substituted or you assume values that are greater than or less than of a given approach, then that's fine. Okay, yung importante natin dito is maipakita mo or maiprove mo ito and then the answer. Okay, yun yung importante. Okay. But of course, ika nga nila, you cannot, explain or you cannot, understand the given problem if you will not solve for it. So, better if you will be solving it if you really wanted to learn from that lesson. Okay? Sige, let's have another example for you not to confuse, not to confused. Okay? Sige, let's have another. Okay, ayan. Now, the second example here is that limit of a function 2x minus 1 over x plus 9 as x approaches to negative 9 positive. So, may sagot na siya. Okay, sorry. Hindi ko pala na-erase. So, the result here is negative. Okay. The answer here is negative. May sagot na siya. Hindi ko pa siya na-erase. Pero, paano ba nakuha si negative infinity? Okay. So, gawin lang natin yung ginawa natin kanina. We just have to get the value of our f of x and g of x. So, this will become the f of x. So, unahin muna natin si f of x. So, again ha, f of x over g of x. Yan. So, yan. So, we have here, the f of x is 2x minus 1. Ayan. So, 2x minus 1, i-over lang natin dyan, x plus 9. Okay. So, 2x minus 1. Yung gagawin, miss kasi kanina, diretso na constant. So, ano yung gagawin natin dito? There's nothing to worry about. You just have to substitute the value of your approach sa numerator. Sige nga, tingnan natin na mabuti. What is the approach here? It's negative 9, right? So, we will substitute negative 9 here in the numerator. So, this will become 2 times negative 9. Negative 9. Okay, erase muna natin kasi medyo ano siya, no? Hindi klaro. Sige, negative 9. Ayan. Minus 1. Okay, so what is the result here? That is equal to, okay, that is equal to, negative 19. Tama ba? Okay, negative 19. Bakit negative 19, miss? 2 times negative 9, that is negative 18, minus 1, that is negative 19. If you are, if you're having a hard time in subtracting, adding, multiplying, or dividing, you can use your calculator for this. There's nothing to worry about in using calculator kasi I do believe na hindi naman tayo mga matatalino masyado na pareho kay Galileo na agad-agad meron tayong, nakaka-compute tayo, but we can learn. Okay, but anyway, so ayan, negative 19. Now, the f of x is equal to negative 19. Is negative 19 greater than or less than 0? Very good. Negative 19 is less than 0. Ayan. So if your negative 19 is less than 0, then the result here is C. Okay, ibahin natin yung kulay para maganda. C is less than 0. Okay. So tapos na tayo doon sa numerator. Punta naman tayo or sa f of x. Punta naman tayo sa g of x. Ayan, sa g of x, yung value natin is x plus 9, right? So, we will substitute numbers that are increasing pala siya. Increasingly equal to negative 9. So, increasing kasi nga plus. Negative 9 plus. So, to the right. So, increasing. Sige, give me numbers that are increasing to 9 or greater than negative 9. Okay, negative 8. Okay, x is greater, ha? Okay, greater than, kaya pwede yun si negative 8. Ha? Pwede yun. So, we have here negative 8. What else? 0, miss. Sige, 0. Okay, what else? Ano, miss? 3. Okay, sige, 3. Ayan. Again, hindi tayo kasi minsan we are confused na kasi negative yung approach, tapos increasingly, so kailangan yung mga values na isa-substitute natin is negative din. No, it doesn't mean na pag negative yung approach niya, tapos increasing is negative lang yung isa-substitute. Pwede tayong gumamit ng mga positive numbers, ha? Huwag tayong ma-confuse. Okay, now, we have here, again, yung sinubstitute natin is negative 9, okay, greater than negative 9. So, x is greater than negative 9. Baka kasi ma-confuse kayo. Okay, substitute natin. So, ayan. So, itong x plus 9, so negative 8, directional natin. Negative 8 plus 9, ano yung result dito? That is positive 1. Next, what is the result here? 0 plus 9 equals to 9. Okay. Next, 3 plus 9, that is equal to 12. Okay, positive 12. Now, as you can notice, ano yung mga values nila? Okay, they are all positive, right? They are all positive. So, since they are all positive, therefore, the g of x is to the result of our g of x is to the, okay, very good, to the right. Okay, kasi yung mga values ng x plus 9 or the g of x are all positive. So, 0 plus. Okay. So, again, 0 plus. Si g of x, 0 plus. Ayan. Ibahin natin yung kulay. Ayan. 0 plus. So, since, okay, yung c natin is less than 0. Saan dito sa dalawa, A and B, yung merong less than 0. Okay. So, tingnan natin ng mabuti. Ayan. C is less than 0. Saan dito yung may less than 0? Ito, si less than 0. Ito, and then the other, ito si less than 0. Right? So, itong dalawang to, no? Hindi ibig sabihin na dalawa yung sagot. Ha? Okay, tingnan naman natin yung g of x, yung denominator. The answer is 0 plus. So, saan dito yung may 0 plus? Si A or si B? Si letter B. Ito siya. G of x is approaches to 0 plus. So, since yung dalawa natin is I mean, what you call it, satisfy siya. Therefore, the given limit natin is negative infinity. Kaya yung sagot dito sa ating given is negative infinity because the result here is negative infinity. Okay? So, ganun lang po siya kadali. Okay? So, don't be confused, ha? Just follow the steps that I've been teaching you kasi that's the easiest way. Pero what if, miss, meron akong ibang strategy? Okay lang po ba yon? That's okay. That's fine. Okay, sige. Now, let's have another example. Kasi meron ditong try this. Ayan, sagutan natin yung try this. Now, the try this here is the limit of 4x plus 1 over x minus 5 as x approaches to 5 plus. Now, sagutan natin ha, para mas maintindihan natin. Now, take note that the given limit, ano yung una natin? Yung sagot na natin, lagay natin mamaya dyan. Okay, so we have here 4x plus 1 is your your f of x. Okay, again, ito siya is yung f of x natin. Okay, don't be confused. Over yung g of x. Okay, g of x is equal to, ayan. So, yung f of x again natin, tingin tayo dito, 4x plus 1 over the g of x is x minus 5. X minus 5. Now, unahin natin si g of x, si f of x, sorry. Unahin natin si f of x. So, we have here f of x, si 4 times, what is the value of our approach? 5. Okay? So, 5 plus 1 over, so let natin mamaya dyan, yung g of x. Unahin muna natin si f of x is equal to, ano yung sagot dito? 20, 4 times 5, 20 plus 1, that is 21. Now, is 21 greater than or less than? Less than 0. That is, okay, greater than 0. So, again, we denote f of x as c. So, therefore, yung ano natin dito, yung 21 will be c greater than 0. Okay, next naman, si g of x. Now, our g of x here is x minus 5. Yung approach niya, ano yung approach? That is, okay, the approach is 5 plus. Okay, to the right. So, meaning, the values that we will be distributing or substituting, sorry, that we will substitute is greater than 5. Okay, so give me numbers that are greater than 5. Again, this is not necessary, but this is to help you. How did it happen? Okay? Sige. Now, let's have here x greater than 5. What are the numbers that are greater than 5? Let's say x sub 1 is equal to 6. Okay? X sub 2 is equal to, let's say, 9. Okay? X sub 3 is equal to, ano ba magandang number? Sabihin natin 15. Ayan. So, substitute natin tong mga values ni x. Substitute natin. Okay? Substitute natin. So, we have here x minus 5. So, this will become 6 minus 5 is equal to ilan? 1. Okay, ito naman. Si 9 minus 5 is equal to 4. Okay. Next, 15. Si 15 ano? 15 minus 5 is equal to positive 10. Okay, ayan. Now, take a look ulit. Ayan, ito. What are the answers here? They are all? Okay, they are all positive. So, if the answers are all positive, then the approach of our g of x is, okay, 0 plus. Okay, so this will become 0 plus. Okay, so 0 plus, lagay natin dito, and 0 plus. So now, hanapin natin, saan dito yung may 0 plus at saka c greater than 0? Ayan. So again, ano yung ano natin? Si si C is greater than 0. Saan dito yung greater than 0? Ito. C is greater than 0. Wait lang. C is greater than 0. Tapos yung isa, ito naman. C is greater than 0. So, saan kaya sa kanilang dalawa yung sagot? So, C is greater than 0. Tapos yung G of X approaches to 0 plus. So, saan dito yung may 0 plus? Ito. So, therefore, yung sagot natin is positive infinity. So, again, yung sagot natin dito is equal to positive infinity. So, yung result natin dito sa limit na to is positive infinity. So, ganun lang kadali. Okay? Sige. Thank you!